Yeah. So this is what I understood so far. Long before this has been all over the media, I've been watching this. They've been going after homeowners, especially in Brooklyn. It's to me, it's clearly ethnic cleansing. And a lot of these landlords are actually tied to the Zionists. So just like they're trying to colonize Patagonia in Argentina, they're burning down forests. They're talking about sending hundreds of thousands in a deal between Milei and Netanyahu of Israelis of kind of like a plan B to colonize Argentina. Now they're bringing in white people and Zionist ethnically cleansed neighborhoods within the U.S. empire itself. It's the chickens coming home to roost. It's a imperialism returning home. So I see it as a broader, as an anti-imperialist, I see these actions of evicting these people, this deed theft, as part of the continued imperialism against Black and brown families that have been here for generations, that are homeowners, but they're still part of the working class. They inherited these homes. And, a lot of politicians, including Mamdani, were not speaking out about this. It took a councilman getting assaulted, which we're about to see from Mamdani, finally to speak out on this.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, renters' rights is important, but homeowners too, especially if they come from an oppressed class. So,
yep. And we're gonna have a video right here. Wait, let me bring it back. So for people listening and not watching, because shouts out to the viewership on Spotify, it's going up a little bit. I like 30 for 30. Let's keep that 30 going and get higher. It's a split screen where you're gonna hear Mamdani speaking, and then you might hear some commentary of the councilman being attacked.
I think first is to say that the council member is rightly passionate about tackling the scourge of deed theft. And he has been someone who has been leading. It's been a pleasure to be working with him alongside the creation of efforts that our administration will be delivering on to combat that same scourge. And I'll follow up on the details of this arrest.
Yeah. So, and then also after that speech, he actually made a bill. He made a mandate that I believe passed through. Let's pull that up real quick.
Work through the creation of New York City's first ever Office of Deed Theft Prevention. This office will be led by Peter White, a longtime supervising attorney for homeowner assistance at Access Justice Brooklyn. And this office will be housed within the Department of Finance, where Peter will write a news story of action. I know in the past, city government has too often stood idly by while deed theft occurs, rather than acting to prevent it. With Peter's leadership, we are bringing that era to an end.
This office will focus on 3 central tenets. Number 1, deed fraud identification. Number 2, deed fraud prevention. And number 3, deed fraud correction and remediation.
We are witnessing a disturbing rise in the number of housing scams, particularly scams like deed theft that target Black and brown neighborhoods, homeowners in gentrifying neighborhoods. We have already indicted several individuals under the new criminal deed theft law, including a pair of scammers who stole the home of an elderly widow living in Kew Gardens Hills while she was receiving end-of-life hospice. In the next few weeks, we will also be going to trial on a case in Harlem involving a brownstone, where the rightful owner of that brownstone was living in a homeless shelter. We must put an end to deed theft. We must save homes. We must save generational wealth, and we must do it together. Thank you.
So let's get thoughts from the team. Let's start with Amy, and then we'll go with Alex Flores, and then I'll get my thoughts last.
Yeah, so I mentioned an author to you, N.K. Jemisin, in the last time I was here. She actually wrote about this in Cities. This happened to one of her characters, where deed theft, they just go down to City Hall or they go do whatever, and there's different pathways to doing this. But I know that there's been a 240% increase in complaints with the Attorney General's office. In 2023, there are 149 cases.
Amy, could you DM me that author's info after the show, please? I want to
absolutely. Yeah, sure. 2024, there were 222 cases. 2025, 517 cases, primarily in Brooklyn and Queens. Brooklyn, 1,500, Queens, 1,000. The targets are disproportionately Black and brown families, especially Black families, that have owned the homes for decades and decades and decades.
Generations.
Yes, thank you. Generations.
This is crazy.
Yeah, it's just disgusting. It's like and the similarities with the West Bank are like it makes my skin crawl. You know,
And these NYPD are trained by Mossad. That's the thing. The same ones that are showing up to occupy these houses, they're trained by the Mossad themselves.
Yeah. And I think that this
I'm
really
sorry, by the IDF. I meant the IDF. Yeah.
Yeah. And yesterday, I know that they were using Tish made a statement, and she said that it wasn't deed theft, but she clarified that it actually did begin as deed theft. And in this exact case, the 227 group is 3 white men that have ties to Israel. All 3 of them. And I'm just, it's so disgusting. And they've done it. I saw a map today and I couldn't find it. I was just looking for it, but a map of how many other houses in that neighborhood they've done the same thing to. So although I read those numbers, I guarantee that that's half, a quarter of what's really happening, you know, and it's organized, and it's LLCs that have ties to Israel that are swooping in and literally stealing homes from Black Americans.
There's also an attempted kidnapping. Can I get into that?
Yeah.
The grandfather,
Yeah,
the grandfather is very important. And actually I understand the legalities of this because I am a power of attorney. So she's the power of attorney of her grandfather. I happen to be the POA for my father. And so I have some ideas to the legalities of this. Literally, they're making it legal now to attempt to kidnap from another state. So basically the other guardian for her father that was signed over to her brother for, I guess, for like money or something, is trying to extract the father from New York and force him into a home in Georgia. Her house in Georgia was burnt down mysteriously. And then, so they're basically trying to take away her right to be power of attorney of her own grandfather, who's happily living with her in their home in New York. And when she didn't produce her grandfather because she was worried that they were going to kidnap him right there in the courts, that's when they arrested her. And so I'm glad I'm not a homeowner right now, because if they get away with this, it would make it legal for, like, I live in Florida, right? It would be like somebody all of a sudden, without me knowing, like one of my father's relatives made a guardianship in another state for my father, and then they would attempt to kidnap my father and take away my home. That's how crazy this is. In a way, it's even worse than deed theft because they're trying to steal her grandfather from her.
Yeah. This reminds me, and I don't want to put any names into this because I don't know who's listening to this. But this reminds me of New Haven with 2 entities, Pike and Mandy, who are both Zionists and affiliated, and they own majority of the properties in New Haven. And when you come to New Haven, you see historic Black, especially historic Black neighborhoods gentrified, gone. So many, even on Broadway, you know what I mean? So there is definitely a root of Zionist connections with this. You know what I mean? And we're not the podcast to say that it's only the Zionist, but
it's capitalism, but Zionism is a form of capitalism.
Exactly. And that's what I think is very, very important to explain, because this is literally late stage capitalism where we are seeing people of color being put out, and they are not able to buy any homes because they don't make the money that they make. You know what I mean? And I think of New York City with my family, how they had to leave their home when they were living in Brooklyn, and they had to go out into the outskirts. At least they was able to find something out into the outskirts. But it's like they've been at that home for so long, and now they have to leave. It's everywhere.
Do you know who can put a stop to this right now, but she refuses to do it?
Who?
The governor of New York.
Yeah.
She could make a moratorium on evictions right now, and she doesn't do it. You know why? She's financed by a lot of these same people. And I want to mention something else. I was doing some research on the councilman. I can't think of his name at this moment. I'm terrible with names. The councilman that was arrested. I just started paying attention to him, but I've known about the issue a while. And I'm glad that a politician is getting involved. He's very brave. But I just want to give kudos to his bravery. And he actually happens to be a queer activist. And let me tell you, he's braver than 500, straight right-wing Republicans. This guy is putting himself on the line, and I have a lot of respect for him. And last I heard, he got a concussion. He came out and revealed what they had done to him, and he did it to defend his constituents. And he's put Mandani to shame because Mandani's been silent on this for a long time, and he's finally speaking out. But there's only so much the mayor. Right. There's only so much the mayor can do. The governor's got to step in. There's got to be pressure, and this has national implications because Georgia's involved. The Georgia courts are trying to force her to bring her grandfather over and close her home, and they got to fight it.
Yeah. So we'll definitely keep our eyes on this going on and report everything that we can. Like I said, we also are activists, so we're going to definitely be on the ground and talk about this as well too in organizing. You mentioned right wing, which is hilarious because there's one thing I got to mention in the summary of what we're going to talk about today. It's this. Let's just play it. Fuck it.
That's for sure.
Yes.
Him.
There we go. StreamYard, you are just so awful sometimes. Okay.
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him. I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind or oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yes.
So I do think it's a moment to wrestle with our own consciences. We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people. It was not intentional. That's all.
I am so done with the right wing fighting amongst themselves, apologizing. This is what y'all wanted. And I'm not talking about the working class. I'm talking about the elites.
Yeah.
This is for the elites.
Because Tucker Carlson is part of the right wing intelligentsia. He's part of the upper, intellectual right wingers, and now he can't handle what he fomented. He also interviewed a guy we interviewed recently, right? Kiriakou.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson.
Kiriakou.
Yeah, the best way I would describe Tucker Carlson, he's not a fascist, but he's an opportunist. So he'll work with fascists when it serves his interests. But now, of course, he's regretting that. And also he wants to get some followers back, right? Because he lost so many followers. He's disgraced himself so much. Now he's having to distance himself from Trump. It's gotten that bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, bro. You over here apologizing and you still having the same mindset does not make me feel like you having a genuine you genuinely feel sorry. Sorry,
I don't
were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't think I've ever in my lifetime heard anyone ever apologize for who they voted for on the right side. I think that I've never seen this.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, and it kind of blows my mind to see so many people that are so far to the right calling out Trump and Israel. And what that's telling me is that they are farther to the left than Blumenthal and Murphy.
Oh, yeah, on the Democratic side. Yeah. The Democrats are going to stay staunch Zionists.
I talk about the journalist Max Blumenthal sometimes, who I've met a few times. We were talking about the Democrat Blumenthal, yeah.
Yeah. The one that ran and just to
Richard, our senator.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Max Blumenthal's father was friends with the Clintons, but Max himself is independent, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Richard Blumenthal, I only see him when it's time to make speeches. I've met him multiple times. Only when it's time to make speeches. He don't be out there marching. He don't out there putting the work. He gets the most money from AIPAC.
Wearing his uniform. I remember going for marches with him when he was wearing his military uniform and talking about his service. And then I remember because I used to be a congressional aide. We were doing something in DC. And I was there, and I remember I was sitting in an auditorium, and everybody's phones started going off. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I look at my phone and it's like, did you see what happened with Senator Blumenthal? And that was when he had, pretended that he served in Vietnam. I haven't been able to forgive that or forget that.
Well, what we have in this country is what they call a selective amnesia.
Yes.
Somebody runs again and suddenly they forget something that happened from 2 years ago. It has to do with the people in this country, a lot of them having a short attention span. And so they don't remember things from happened from just shortly before. Or they're selective about it,
Yes. So real quick, I wanted to talk about, and I'm not even going to bring his face up because it's just, we heard about a lot of things in domestic violence, basically, femicide, young man, a man that was upset his wife was leaving him and killed 8 children, and shot at his wife, and then he was killed. I can't remember this guy's name. I got to get his name up. I should have put it in the show notes.
Yeah, Monty was talking about him.
Yeah, and then also, we have.
But wasn't he a politician at one point, and then he got disgraced?
He was a veteran.
Oh,
I
Shamar Elkins.
Shamar Elkins, yes. Thank you, Amy. I was looking it up. I wasn't.
So PTSD could have been involved.
7 of the children were his own, and the 8th was his nephew, and the children ranged in age from 3 to 11.
Right.
And what, he killed them all?
Killed them all because his wife was about to leave him. And it's like, wow. there's this mindset that's within capitalism where, the patriarchy has this like ownership type of mindset. Like, if I can't control you or anything, then I have to kill you. And it's a huge part of like these domestic violent issues. Yes, men are also a part of being victims of domestic violence, but we gotta like look at the root cause. It's definitely a patriarchal system that's enabling this type of behavior. And I do agree. We should talk about mental health, but I think it's deeper talking about like we should have a law that forbids femicide, because this is definitely one of the cases. You know what I mean?
Well, we should have research into the causes of it and find out ways to prevent it.
Yes,
and not just special laws to punish people more for it, but like ways to prevent it.
Right. Some help, some aid.
Well, public health care would be great, because a lot of people that have mental health issues that are not being treated for because they can't afford the health care plans. Right. That would help as well.
Right. And then also another domestic case. I don't know if you had a chance to pay attention, Alex, about the artist David.
Nope.
He was found. He was charged for the first-degree murder of a 14-year-old girl. He's 21 years old that he was grooming since she was 11 years old, and they found her body chopped up in a Tesla.
Oh,
yes.
Did not hear about this at all.
In the trunk?
In the trunk of the Tesla. Yep. And he's now being charged. They said that he's going to have his first hearing on the case next week. It's interesting. They're doing a speedy trial. But what's really crazy is that 2 things. They found CP, child pornography, on his phone, and it was girls that was close to Celeste's age, which is around the tween and the young teen age, not the elderly teenage, but still teenager, child. So I'm saying like 14, 13-year-old girls. And his father, this is very interesting, Alex. I looked it up. His father recently left a law firm that was representing him, and that law firm is the same law firm that Epstein was represented with.
Ew.
So there's an Epstein connection.
They might as well get what's the name of that lawyer that destroyed Finkelstein's career? He was also Epstein's lawyer and Trump's lawyer.
Yes.
Jewish guy. Yeah.
Giuliani? Giuliani?
No, Jewish guy. No, Jewish guy.
Yeah, it's Dershowitz. Dershowitz.
Yes. They
Oh,
might as well get Dershowitz.
yes. I'm
I was
sorry.
going to say
Yeah.
they might as well get Dershowitz to represent this guy because he loves defending pedophiles.
I'm
Literally.
surprised he hasn't jumped in.
Well, not only that,
Although he's becoming a Republican.
Dershowitz co-authored. He calls himself a liberal Zionist, right? He co-authored an article with Epstein justifying statutory rape. This is back before Epstein got convicted, but he was with Epstein using his influence to get it in an article in a paper saying they should change the age of statutory rape.
Yeah.
That's what Dershowitz is. He's a scumbag. And Finkelstein's, and who I've met, his parents were Holocaust survivors. Basically, when he had a political disagreement with Finkelstein, he said that his mother was a capo, that she was like a collaborator that had sex with the Nazis in the camp, like terrible things like that. Is a terrible individual that before Finkelstein could get his full tenureship, he made sure he was fired because of his views on Hezbollah. But Dershowitz is just an overall scumbag, and I'm glad he's taking heat now for being in the Epstein files. Finally,
yes. And he tried to act like that that everything that he said was true, but now they're showing like, no, bro, you was around and you witnessed and you didn't do anything about it. And the name of David's father, by the way, is Dwayne Burke. I can't get the photo up for some reason. I guess it's on a different type of setting for me to put it up. But Dwayne Burke is the name of the father. And when you look at the LinkedIn, you will see the same law firm, which is Trouchman Law Firm. That is the same law firm that helped out Epstein. So this guy, this kid who we really don't know about, 21 years old, alternative artist, he was definitely in with the crowd, and ain't no telling how many children he has harmed until he was finally caught. And I want to give a big fuck you to the LAPD for not taking this man in. The moment you see a child chopped up in your trunk, if you're not famous, they grabbing you. They're grabbing you. They let this man walk around Amy for 7 months.
I can't believe that. Yeah. Is he white?
He's black. But his father was a part of the Epstein law firm. So, he got crazy. It's just absolutely insane.
It's really weird to suddenly feel like I'm living in 4chan. It's like the shit, like the pizza stuff was true. Like all this shit coming out, and it's like, oh my God, the shit that Jewish space blazers, true. Like, it's true. We gave them money for space lasers.